Okay, this lesson is for Algebra 1. This is day 15, adding and subtracting fractions. The objective, students will add fractions and subtract fractions. Okay, so there are steps here on the right-hand side. You should copy these down and just watch what I do. I'm going to show the problem, show the steps, and we'll go from there. Okay, so these are the steps here on the right. Step 1, make the denominators the same right here. We factor the denominators, multiply needed factors to make denominators the same. Then step 2, you convert fraction with a new LCM. And 3, perform the operation in the numerator and keep the denominator, and simplify if needed. So number 1, 7/5 plus 9/3. We need to factor the 5 and the 3. When you look at these are already factored. So I'm going to bring it down here, just give it a little more space. We notice that automatically that the 5 and the 3 are different. So when we see that, we want to make sure that we multiply by any other factors that aren't there. On this side, we don't have a 3 here, but we have a 3 on this side, so we want to multiply this side by 3. And we do that on the numerator as well. On this side, we don't have a 5, but the other side has a 3 and a 5, so we want to make it complete by multiplying it by 5. When you do that, you have a denominator that's the same. And whatever you do in the numerator as you would in the denominator. So 3 times 7 is 21. Let me change colors here. 3 times 5 is 15. Adding 9 times 5 is 45. 3 times 5 is 15. Then now our denominators are the same. So we could, now that our denominators are the same, we just need to add the numerator. So 21 plus 45 is 66. Keep the denominator at 15. Simplify if we can. I know I could simplify 66 and 15 by dividing 3 into each one. So 3 goes into 66 22 times, and it goes into 15 5 times. So it's like me saying 22 over 5. And this is an improper fraction, so we do a side problem. You say 22 divided by 5 goes into 22 4 times, which is 20. Subtract, and you get a remainder of 2. So your answer is going to be 4 and 2/5. 4 and 2/5. That's your final answer. Okay. So for number 2, same thing, same concept. 7/2 plus 9/6. Factor denominators first. The first one already has a factor denominator of 7/2. Second one has a denominator of 6, so it's going to be 9 over 2 times 3. So over here we see that we have a 2 and a 3, and over here we just have a 2. So we need to add or multiply a 3 on this side. And now we have the same denominators. If we have 3 times 2 or 2 times 3 equal to 6. So 3 times 7 is 21. Let's change colors again. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 9 over 6. 21 plus 9 is 30 over 6. 30 over 6 is equal to, if we do a side problem, remember doing the side problem is really important near the end. It goes in, it goes in 6 times perfectly. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, you get 0 denominator, so your answer is going to be 5. So any sort of addition problem, that's what you're going to end up doing. I'm going to jump to subtraction, and you'll notice that it's like exactly the same steps. Okay. The only thing that's going to be different is you're going to have to use your skills from the last lessons of integers, adding and subtracting integers here. So I'll do number 1. Number 1. 7 minus 2/6, or 7/2 minus 2/6. Again, just like the last problem, this is going to have 7/2 minus 2 over 2 times 3. We know that 2 times 3 is different than just 2, so we multiply the 2 times the 3 and the 7 times 3. And when we do that, we learn that 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract over 2, 6, we get this and we get 19 over 6. I can't simplify that, but I could put it as a mixed number. So 19 divided by 6 is going to be equal to 3 with a remainder of 1. So we take the whole number. This is 3, the remainder over 1/6, and that's your answer for number 1. For number 2 is a little bit different in the sense that we have a positive fraction up here, but over here we're subtracting a negative. So if you know from your integers, 2 negatives really should mean we're adding these two together. So it's a simple addition problem. So again, we want to factor that the denominator's out, so we have 11 over 2 times 3 plus 2 over 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, and we notice on this left side we have a 2 times a 3. Over here we have a 2 times 2 times 2. So we have 3 2's we have to add on each of them. So we want to multiply this side by 2, okay, and do that in my numerator also. And over here we don't have a 3 like we do on the left hand side, so we want to multiply this by 3. So now we're all ready to go. We're gonna do this one. So 2 times 2 is 22 times 2 times 2 is 4 times 11 is 44. Denominator, 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 3 is 24. Add 2 times 3 is 6. And of course our denominator here is the same. 44 plus 6 is 50 over 24. Now, when I look at this, we could simplify this. We know 2 goes into each of these. It goes in 25 times here, and it goes in 12 times here. You could do a side problem. We know that 25 divided by 12 is going to be 2 with a remainder of 1. So it's going to be 2 and 1/12 is your answer. Okay. So it's the same concepts. You're just making sure you're checking your signs. Let's do one more. Let's jump down to number 5. Number 5 here. This one's kind of special because what ends up happening here is that we have a whole number -2. Remember, you can make any whole number by a fraction by putting a 1 under it. Okay, so what you could do here is you just bring down the -2 over 1, and we factor out the 1, which is just 1, and we factor out the 4 over 7, which is just 7. Now, this -2 here, it's really supposed to be a negative in the front all the way out here. So this is supposed to be -2 over 1 plus 4 over 7. Since that's the case, we have a negative and a positive. So we want to subtract the fractions and keep the bigger sign. But before that, we need to figure out what are we going to multiply each of the bottom denominators by. We have a 1 here and a 7 here. So in this first denominator, we're going to multiply by 7. Second denominator, we're going to multiply by, or the first numerator we multiply by 7. On the second denominator, we only have a 7. Now we can multiply it by 1, but anything times 1 is going to be itself. So it's kind of redundant. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. So you know in your head that they are the same, but you don't have to. Okay, now that we have that, we multiply these numbers out to make sure we have new fractions. So 7 times 2 is 14. Don't forget our negative sign. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 4 times 1 is 4 over 7. Now, we have a side problem. We have -14 plus 4. So we have different signs, so we subtract and keep the bigger sign, which is my negative sign. So we go 14 minus 4, which is 10. Okay, so we know this is going to be equal to 10. Oh, excuse me. 10, and we keep the negative sign in front, keep our denominator. Almost done. Need to do a side problem. 10 divided by 7, which is 1. Subtract, you get a remainder of 3. So this is like saying -1 and 3/7. Okay? So those are the basic steps. Good luck with your work, and email me if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a good day.